Hey, what do you say? Welcome on in to the Run In Podcast. My name is Tommy Paradise.
And it's showtime, folks. It's DJ back in the rafters here on the West Coast.
That's right. He was out here on the East Coast for quite a quick trip, I should say. Blink an eye and he was gone. But we also got a friend of ours on the line here. He's going to help us dissect AEW Revolution. Mike Lanham, what's up, buddy?
What's happening, boys?
Oh, you know, same old. Got a bang here, ready to go. I can see DJ's cup. He must have the vigilante drip going. Mike, what do you got? Anything?
Nestle Pure Life water.
Water.
Yes,
All right.
There we go.
All right. So, a lot of wrestling to unpack here this week.
Oh, God.
But first, got to remind you that the Run-In Podcast is brought to you by Figure Collections. Make sure you hit up figurecollections.com. More on Figure Collections later in the show. We've got a new giveaway, but we're not going to announce it yet. It's not going to happen yet. We're going to announce that a little bit later on, either in the show or next week. And then, yeah, man, DJ, the trip, it was great. It was great to actually meet DJ in person. What do you think of the East Coast, man?
It's definitely different. Especially flying over and seeing these puddles of water that were frozen. I was like, oh, here we go, so, but I did well. I layered up good. It wasn't that negative temperature kind of stuff that was going on when I was there. So I had a good time.
Yeah, it wasn't super cold while you were here. You lucked out. And
I think so.
It's been 60 here since you left. So
look at that.
So just a couple of reminders for you.
We got hail here since, so look at that.
Lost my train of thought there for a second. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. And before we get into all of it, I want to remind you a couple things. We're still doing our March Madness chain restaurant bracket challenge thing. That's the official title on Instagram and Twitter. Don't forget, we are putting out, we're getting the inner circle together, whoever's available, and putting together a couple of shows to go over the results from the previous week. So those will be dropping as well. We did last week's. That's available in our feed. And we're going to record another one here in the next couple days or so. Don't forget to hit up prowrestlingtees.com/runinpod. We got 2 new shirts up there. Should be 3. We'll get into a little story a little bit later on. It should be 3, but there's only 2 right now. One of them looks like a basketball team from Boston's logo and a basketball team from Los Angeles's logo. Just kind of with some tweaks. My kid actually pointed out that the Celtics one looks like Andre the Giant. The leprechaun guy looks like Andre the Giant, and now I cannot unsee it. So that wasn't our intention. No, that was I didn't see it until he pointed it out. I was like, I was shocked that he came up with that, and then shocked at how right he was, because it does. It looks just like Andre
about the Giant. Sam the Eagle thing. Like you're good at noticing things that I cannot unsee after that.
So check those out. We do have one more or a couple more maybe that'll be popping up there over the next couple of days, hopefully, depending on how long it takes Pro Wrestling Tees to approve them. But yeah, we'll get into a story about those other shirts a little bit later on. And then what else we got here? Kenny's corrections. No Kenny's corrections this week. Again, that's like 4 weeks in a row, I think, of no corrections. DJ, is somebody driving around in your living room? What's going on there?
Yes. Hey, man, I live in the Bay, dude. They got noisy cars here. Okay,
good Lord, man, you need an on-air sign outside your house. But
I guess so. Have a sideshow right next to the house.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're gonna actually put our vlog together of DJ's trip here very shortly, and our meet and greet stuff that we did over at Heroes Hideout in Albany. We're going to do a March Madness Brackham Pick'em challenge through ESPN.com. That'll be in our social media feed, so make sure you're following over there. The Twitter is at Run In Podcast, and the Instagram is at the Run In Pod. Maybe we'll give away one of those brand new shirts. You know what? Let's do that. Whoever wins the ESPN bracket challenge is going to win a brand spanking new Run In Podcast shirt of their choice from our Pro Wrestling Tees store. So, other than that, that was the housekeeping stuff, man. Social media, YouTube, write a review on the good old Apple Podcasts. Other than that, I think, boys, you ready to jump in the ring here? I feel like we moved through that really fast, but
yeah, I saw you guys. I saw you guys hit the 100 on YouTube. So
we did. We got to. I got to get that updated. Make it youtube.com/the Run In Pod. So thanks to everybody who has subscribed to our episodes. The video versions of our episodes are now up on YouTube as well, so you can watch our ugly mugs and enjoy that. And we show off our weekly purchases sometimes and stuff like that. I actually didn't put my pile of stuff near me, so might have to do that at some point. But yeah, let's jump in the ring here, boys. What do you say?
Let's get it.
let's go.
All right. In the Ring is brought to you by Buy, Sell, Trade Toys on Instagram. He just got a new office space.
Yes.
So if you see something that you like, you can actually go pick it up from him if you're in the area. So good for him. And if you're on his website, you can use the code RUN10 to save yourself 10% at checkout. It's Buy, Sell, Trade Toys on Instagram. All right. So let's get into it, man. AEW Revolution. This is the first AEW pay-per-view I have ever paid hard-earned money for. First one ever. And we split it. Me and DJ split it because we were here at the house. And I did not have 1 million people over like I allegedly did for the Royal Rumble, but
allegedly.
I mean, let's get right into it, man. Here's my gripes with it. I'm not even going to gripe about the
your
ending.
dog loves me, by the way.
Don't take it too hard. He loves everybody. He's a people person. But anyway, the pay-per-view, man, in my opinion, again, first time ever ordering it. For one thing, it should not have been as long as it was. It should not have been 4 hours. That's the whole reason why we didn't do a recap show. Right. That's the whole reason why we didn't do a recap show, because I had to get DJ back to his hotel so I could pick him up at the airport at 4:30 in the morning to get him on his plane for 6 or whatever time he was leaving. So, we were just like, nope, it's not happening. We're like, once it gets past 11, we're not doing this. Also, I felt like an old goddamn man trying to order this thing. I download the Fight app. Fight has instructions on how to order it. Apparently, Fight, you can only use it international to watch the pay-per-view.
For AEW, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, cool. Let's try to do it on BleacherReport.com then, or Bleacher Report Live. Download that app. You can't cast it to your TV. I'm like, all right. So then I try to cast it from my laptop to the TV. Not happening. I end up having to hook up an HDMI cable to my laptop, and we watched it through that. I mean, it worked out, but I just was like, where the hell is the 800 number that I used to be able to call to have it come up? Or like, I have the voice remote for my cable company. Why can't I just be like AEW Revolution? Yes, I'll pay $50.
Yeah, for $50, there has to be an easy way for this. I know they only do like 4 or 5 shows a year, but if you want viewers, like, you shouldn't have to go through that much trouble.
Right.
To
make
order
it
a show
as easy as possible.
Yeah, and people aren't going to watch it on their phone. They're not going to watch it on a tablet. They want to watch it on their TV or their projector or whatever they may have. So
exactly,
either you're doing something wrong or there's a process that's way too many hurdles that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, it was bad, but I just felt like overall, I felt like it didn't feel like a pay-per-view. It felt like an episode of Dynamite. I mean, there were some good matches. There were some bad matches. Even the death match, I thought the match overall was decent, but the ending obviously ruined everything. And as Bully Ray said, they always remember the ending. They only remember the ending.
Always.
So just a lot of weird stuff. I don't know if I'll ever pay for an AEW pay-per-view again, at least not in the near future. But what were you guys' thoughts? We'll let you go first, Mike. You're the guest.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it was a good show. It's not a great show. There were some excellent matches, but there was also like some just stuff that seemed thrown together. Some of the women's matches, You always have all these run-ins by guys that don't even work there. A lot of like missed spots and stuff like that. I mean, the overall like entertaining, but when you drag a show out to 4 or 5 hours, especially if you include the pre-show and all that, just it's almost too much. I get you're only doing so many shows a year, and this is the last show they'll do before Mania, so that they're trying to kind of pull that crowd, and then they won't have another one until I guess the end of April or May or something. So you have all your main people on the show, but at the end of the day, better than a basic Dynamite, but not worth $50.
For sure. And that's exactly what I felt. It was like, I felt like it wasn't even worth the $25 because me and TJ split it. So I was just like, oh man.
I didn't pay either, but still I had to watch it.
So I'll say this. I kind of agree with Mike's points. Like, I think it was definitely, there were some entertaining spots in it. I thought the women's championship match, just the two ladies, they did not have a chemistry. Like, they just were two just very different styles that didn't go together in the ring. I did so I enjoyed watching Scorpio Sky get his moment. I think Sting showed that he should have been in the graveyard match. I think that was the whole point. To me, I think that was the whole point of the match, was that Sting wanted to show, look, you guys should have put me in the graveyard match.
Have they not to interrupt you, DJ, but so like after the graveyard match, all the details came out on that really quickly. Like, they talked about when they filmed it, how long it took, stuff like that. I'd be real interested to know how long it took. Like, because Sting looked good, but were they giving him was there 10 minutes in between some of these shots? Was some of it shot over a couple of days? The look of it and stuff was really cool in the warehouse and stuff. And it was basically more of a standard match. It just had a cool cinematic feel to it.
But Darby Allin is a nut.
Right.
He's a nut.
Right. And we know that. So
and then, like I said, the work that so for the main event, the work that Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley did was great. Like, they obviously, we can watch them go, every week we can watch a match with Jon Moxley and Omega, but the match, but for it to be you were hyping up this death, it's going to be a barbed wire, exploding death match. And we've seen these, we've seen, Chainstar Charlie and Cactus Jack do these. And so we know what it's supposed to look like. And we, and this was, like I said, the last week, this was their chance to pick up people that were not AEW fans. And I don't think that this did it. I don't think that they were good enough to get to bring people over. That's my complaint about the pay-per-view. I just don't think they did that job.
Especially with Christian Cage being the surprise. I love Christian. Christian's one of my favorites. I was saying all weekend when we were talking about it with people at the Heroes Hideout thing, we went out to dinner Saturday night with some friends. We were just talking wrestling, and I kept saying, if they really want to make a wave and really want to pull in some people, hopefully they got CM Punk, because, and I'm not even a huge Punk guy, but I think what AEW needs to do is get new eyes on the product. Wrestling fans are going to watch. But what are they doing to get that lapsed fan? And I don't think Christian's the answer to that. I love Christian. He's mid card to high mid card talent. I know looks like he might be getting a title shot sooner than later, but he's not going to sell tickets, in my opinion. He's not going to sell. I mean, maybe he'll sell a couple t-shirts, but and this is coming from somebody who really, I really enjoy Christian's work. I think he's great, but for all the hype of that announcement, I feel like Christian was kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
He's better than Kurt Angle.
Yeah. He's not the answer. Paul White's not the answer. I don't know that they need to bring somebody in. They have plenty of talent on their own roster, but I think they're trying to make surprise announcements or big announcements like that a reason to watch. And I mean, obviously it worked, but at the end of the day, how many times can you do this before people finally are like, you fooled me once, fooled me twice. Like, unless you sign a CM Punk or a Brock Lesnar, somebody like that, I don't imagine any of those are ever happening. And at this point, I don't know that there's a lot of names left out there that either are going to be big enough to make an impact or that people aren't going to laugh about because they're too old or not entertaining anymore. At this point, you're just signing a name to sign a name because Vince doesn't want to put him in the ring or doesn't have a spot for him.
Doesn't have a spot for him, right?
Well, and that was the whole reason they said Paul White left, was because they would let him work there, but he wasn't going to get the TV time and the in-ring time. And he's like, well, I can go to AEW and they'll let me be in the ring and on TV as much as I want. You can't fault those guys, but I don't think that's what AEW originally. They said they weren't going to be this, and they've basically turned into a WCW, a TNA, where they're just hiring every name that's not signed to WWE.
They almost have the same rosters as WCW/TNA now.
Well, and you have Eric Bischoff and Conrad and all these, and JJ Dillon, all these guys, like older guys showing up and doing side work for them, and it's like
Shaq.
This is Shaq. And Shaq was really entertaining last week. I don't know how much they'll use him, but I mean, it's just another person that.
But he was in WCW for a minute,
that just brings more eyes on the TV or on the product that might not normally watch it.
Yep. But they lost 200,000 viewers on Shaq's episode. So it's like,
I mean, outside of the explosion, non-explosion at the end of the match, I mean, what was the point of having this women's tournament if the person's gonna fight Sheeta and then lose, and then you'll get to it when you talk about AEW. If you're going to cover AEW this week, same thing. Like Scorpio Sky wins this ladder match, has the match immediately on the next show, and also loses. Now it does seem like they're turning his character, and this is probably the best thing they can do for Scorpio Sky, because I think all of us agree that Scorpio Sky could be the future of that company. But another loss. But maybe in the long run, this doesn't hurt him, because there's a chance he's going to turn like Monster Hill here and really maybe have a big run over the summer.
Yeah, we are going to get into AEW a little bit later on, but Mike, you kind of nailed it on the head. One last thing I'm just going to kind of like throw the salt in the wound of AEW for that event is that gold ring, brass ring, whatever you want to call it. Why did they have to steal that from Sonic the Hedgehog?
Right.
or
it looked like a Sonic.
Or it either looked like that. Every time we saw it, all I could think of was that, or the donuts from the or not the donuts, but the cereal from the Bootios at WrestleMania.
Yeah, the hemorrhoid donut, or I get they were poking fun of WWE's like Vince's brass ring, but like, can we just stop with like the WWE? Like they did it a lot when they started. They kind of got away from it for a little while, and now like they try to find ways to throw it in. But like that one was a little too on the nose. Like put a contract, put a briefcase. Like I don't care. Like the ring just looks stupid, and it really took away from trying to focus on the match, because every time the camera zoomed out, that's what you saw.
That's what you saw, a big old brass ring.
Yeah.
And don't put a big old styrofoam poker chip up there either.
Right.
I did think the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal was better than I thought it was going to be. A lot of teams I wasn't even sure who was who. But I thought that me and DJ talked about it last week. I thought that was going to be a shit show, and it actually ended up being pretty good, I thought. Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor versus Miro and Kip Sabian. I thought Miro, this is the Miro I hope we get, like, going forward. He's just like a beast, and kind of
you're starting to see maybe like early Rusev, maybe, to where he's gonna get that push. Like, I don't want to see him as the TNT champion, because I feel like that belt's not up to par yet. Plus, it's just a goofy looking title. But like I like when they signed Miro, or Rusev, however you want to look at it. I was like,
Right.
they have an opportunity to make this guy just everything we wanted him to be in WWE and NXT, and just immediately he's the same character he was on TV for the last year, and it's just
Doing
disappointing.
goofy.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just goofy stuff. So hopefully after they end it with Orange and Chuck Taylor, maybe we get to see what Miro can really do at a new company.
Yep. Any other last thoughts on Revolution before we go over our predictions here?
I would just the one more thing about the tag team match, the tag team casino match, ladder match. I did like how they put the real time up on the screen. Like they didn't use the kayfabe time that they do with the Royal Rumble, and we actually saw the real time ticking down. And I thought that to me that kind of added to the match, and it kind of, I think it made the wrestlers stay on their toes during the match as well, instead of waiting like you could tell sometimes in the Royal Rumble they're waiting for the call,
right?
And they're running out of stuff to do. and so this one, they can look over and see the time. It's like, okay, stay on your toes. You got to, do some moves here. Yeah. So I did like that part of that.
I like the rule of like, if you got thrown out, like your partner, as long as they stayed in, you still had a chance to win. Cause I feel like other companies have done a similar thing with tag teams, and it's like,
but one guy
you're
out,
your partner's out. So and they did good story building with the Nightmare family or whatever, like Dustin and that other guy, kind of
QT Marshall,
there you go, kind of breaking up and turning on each other. But it seems like that's going to be like a slow burn, because on TV this week he was still wearing the jacket of the Nightmare family. So but there were some cool spots, but like you said, I mean, it seemed like they were trying to use everybody they could on this show, because like who knew there was like more than one Billy Gunn kid? Like, I just thought there was one. Then there was two, and then like the fake private party guys, and I mean, a lot of teams, but overall, I mean, it was an entertaining match. And the tag match with Jericho and MJF and the Young Bucks was good too. It was a good way to start the show, to kind of get the crowd or us at home kind of interested. And that all bled over into Dynamite this week. So
I'm not a big Young Bucks guy.
No,
I'm not either.
We kind of talked about this in our chat, where it's like, I respect them for what they've done. And they're good. I just don't. They're not anything special to me. You know what I mean? Like, but I did think that was a really decent match. So, it wasn't. I wasn't like, oh man, I can't wait for the next AEW pay-per-view at the end of all this. I was more like, when's this thing going to be over? I'm tired.
That's not good.
Well, I think every time a match ended, we were like, all right, there's one more match, and then it would be like, oh shit, no, there's like two or three more matches.
Yeah, there's like three more.
You couldn't even remember all the matches on the card because of the way, like, the build and stuff. So just overall, like, not worth $50 to me. Too long, almost too much like a Dynamite show. It was a good show, but that's like a $20 show. I can't imagine paying $50 4 or 5 times a year. You can get the whole network for $120.
Right.
Even cheaper now that it's moving to Peacock.
Right.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, and I was thinking that too. Like, I get that like Fight is a subscription service, and that Bleacher Report Live is a subscription service, kind of. But I'm like, what? Like I was saying earlier, I'm like, I wish there was just like a network I could sign up for a month and watch all the old AEW stuff, all the old AEW pay-per-views, and I know they're not on the same level as WWE, but like just some kind of subscribing service, subscription service that they have. I mean, freaking Impact has its own channel on Pluto TV. Like,
exactly,
you got to be able to do something. So just to make it a little bit easier, and a little easier on the wallet, like make me sign up for $15 a month or something, and then I'll forget to renew next month. So you're getting $30 out of me before I remember to cancel. So anything else on Revolution, guys, before we jump on? Oh, we got to talk about the predictions.
Yeah.
We'll run through these real quick. Oh shit, I just knocked a soda over. It still had the lid on it, but that's going to be fun to open later.
Yes. Yes, it will.
All right, so we had, let me run down the card here. We had on the buy-in, we had Rio and Thunder Rosa taking on Britt Baker and Rebel, right? Rebel or Reba? Rebel.
They call her both on TV now.
Yeah,
so
they do.
I think it's become a running joke that they don't know her name.
They actually put on Dynamite this week when they're advertising for next week with Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, which is going to be a banger of a match.
Yes.
They put like in parentheses with Reba or with Rebel, not Reba. Like they made a joke about it on the actual graphic.
The doctor's note excuse part was funny, but there's no excuse for Britt Baker not to be the women's champion there right now. And I think Phil mentioned it maybe about like she should be in NXT in the next year. Like if they don't give her the title and give her like at least a year-long reign, she's just a wasted like top tier talent that they have, because they don't have a lot of women's talent there. So she's just being wasted right now in her prime.
Yeah.
And seeing Thunder Rosa is not a full-time employee.
Right.
So I can see why they're not, like, she's not champ.
We need her to be a full-time, like that women's division is such a mess. They need Thunder Rosa to be full-time.
And that's it. If they ever get, if the filling of all the Impact stuff, if all those women come in, that they're going to have to cut back even more of some of these people on TV or cut some of their roster. So I don't think she'll get lost in the shuffle. I just don't know that she's ever going to get the push that she deserves. But
because some of the knockouts have a bigger name at the moment. They have a bigger name than her.
So hopefully at some point she wins the title, and it's not one of those things where she loses it a week or a month later. She really should have a dominant run with it.
Yeah. So I picked Britt Baker and Reba, whatever. DJ picked Thunder Rosa and Rio. I got the win on that one. Britt Baker getting the win. And then we skipped the tag matches because it was such a hot mess. We both picked Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. We both picked Kenny Omega. I picked Penta. You picked Scorpio Sky. So that's one for you. Trying to read my notes here. You picked. I don't know what I wrote here. Sheeta
attacking.
Yeah. So the only other. So you picked Jericho and MJF. I picked the Bucks. So I won that. And then we both picked Darby and Sting. Both picked Sheeta. So DJ, you had 5. We actually added this up right before DJ left because he brought the belt with him. I had 6. I told you guys I was fucking coming after the Royal Rumble. I said, here I am, holding this title. I got it.
Do not take a Shawn Michaels picture with that damn thing, or I'm buying another one.
There we go.
He saved you some money, DJ. You didn't have to pay to take that on the plane and weigh down that luggage any more than it was.
That's right.
For that whole 8 hours you were there.
Wait a minute, DJ. What is this tape on the back of it? Did you actually put this on?
No, I had it hanging on the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, did you try to make this fit? Dancing around his apartment with it on.
I was about to say, I think it only fit around my thigh, but we're gonna have to work with one of these custom title guys and get us a title.
I keep saying I'm actually gonna have my wife, I think, do something with it. If you guys, I know you guys both follow my DJ page. I have belts. Actually, I have one right here that I use. That like the winner gets to take a picture with.
Right.
A lot of those fantasy football ones that they do look pretty decent, and they're under $100, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this is one that my wife made. It's a U.S. title, but like she put the Bars logo on it. She put my logo on it. So I was like, oh, maybe she could just do something with that. And I have the team sign the back of it. So like every time they win, and they write like a notch on it if they win more than once. So that might be an option. but we'll see down the road. So just a reminder, guys, I am the champion. Just don't want you guys to forget at any point during the show. So, all right, guys.
At any point during the show, okay.
At any point during the show, do not forget that I'm the champion. All right, guys, we got to take a quick break here and hear a little word from our sponsor, figurecollections.com. Guys, how many figures do you have in your collection? 20, 50, 100? What about 43,000 figures? What? 43,000 figures. Figurecollections.com has a database of 43,000 action figures and toys, allowing you to search by character or series. You wonder how many freaking Undertaker figures there are? I'll give you a hint. It's over 300. You can see pictures of almost all of them by searching Undertaker in figurecollections.com database. Figurecollections.com has been around since 2007, providing the best figure information, deals, and videos. You can get all the info over at figurecollections.com. Check out the figure database today. It's figurecollections.com. All right, and we're back. From quick little pee break while you guys listen to me talk about figurecollections.com. Some good stuff happened over at figurecollections.com, so make sure you are following them over on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. They've got a figure collecting Facebook group as well, just like the Fig Cave. Check that out as well. It's called Figure Collecting, Figure Collecting Enthusiasts is what it's called, FCE. So make sure you check that out as well. Always some good deals in there and stuff like that. So shout out to Jack over at Figure Collections. And like I said, they've got some news coming that I know about. Can't quite share yet, but you guys will be very happy about it. I promise. We'll share as soon as we can. All right, a little more wrestling talk here. Let's do our 3 things of the week. Instead of talking about every little thing that happened on every weekly wrestling show, we just each pick 3 things here. My first thing right out of the gate, man, I mean, we kind of just talked about it a little bit here and there, is AEW Rebounding. I think Dynamite this week was actually a great show. Obviously, they had the debacle with the explosion at the end of the pay-per-view. And to be honest with you, I think Mox and Eddie Kingston did a great job of explaining what happened and kind of making light of it. Like, I think what I'll say is, like, AEW is doing a good job of owning what happened. They kind of admit, hey, we fucked this up. Let's have Mox say this, which actually I think kind of like, I love the fact that he was like, I made better bombs in 4th grade. That popped me a little bit. The anxiety thing with Eddie Kingston, like,
I didn't buy that one.
I don't know what to say, and that's it. Like, I don't know what else he could have said in that situation to make it kind of make sense. But I think overall, the whole show, we talked about Scorpio Sky turning. There was some good action. Obviously, we're getting a new faction, which I'm totally here for, with FTR, Sean Spears, and MJF, and of course Tully running the show there. So give me you guys thoughts on AEW this week on Dynamite.
That was kind of like on my 3, like it kind of spills over into me. I'm really liking this storyline with those 4 guys and the Inner Circle. Like that, I'm very intrigued. I want to watch that story every week.
I was going to say they're doing good storytelling with that. Like, that's something that's missing in wrestling right now, for the most part, is the good storytelling.
Yes. So I will watch that story every week because it got very good. Like, it gave us a nice curveball. Like, here we are thinking, oh, okay, MJF is going to take over the Inner Circle. Like, that's what everybody's reading into this, and that's not what happened at all. So, kudos to the writing on that. Like that, they got me on that one. I want to see that story every week.
How about you, Mike?
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, last year, right after COVID started, we originally were going to have this almost like a War Games type match with Inner Circle and then whoever they were fighting, a Hangman and some other people maybe. And the idea of that match sounded great, and then they basically had to scrap it because they didn't have that show. They didn't want to have that many people in the ring at once, I guess. So I'm hoping that's what we're going to end up seeing out of this is Inner Circle versus kind of this new version of the Horsemen. Kind of. It's a lot of hills, even though I guess you're going to kind of partially turn Inner Circle face. So yeah, I'm all for this. I think they can really stretch this out all the way to probably the next pay-per-view, at least, if not longer. And when you're using all these guys at once, you've got the stuff with Sting and Darby and Taz's team and stuff. That opens up a lot of these other guys to maybe be fighting Omega. Like, obviously, we know Christian looks like he's going to get a title shot. But this might be a great time for your Scorpio Skies, guys like that, to really shine. Hangman beating Matt Hardy. Hopefully that'll give him a push. So yeah, you got all these guys in one big match. That leaves some of these other guys maybe title opportunities, and it would be nice to see some new blood up there. So yeah, all for a really good AEW show this week. Definitely making up for what ended up being kind of a pay-per-view by the time you had the mess up at the end.
Right. DJ, you had it. You had, like in the inner circle storyline on your top three here. Anything else to add for Dynamite this week?
Just like you put rebound, like you said, AEW rebounds. Like that's like you hit it on the head. Kudos to, like you said, kudos to them. Like them going right straight at the problem and going, you know what? We messed up, but here we're still going to give you this show to keep you around. So, they didn't run from it. I give them all the credit in the world. And then had a great show on Wednesday. So the entire show on Wednesday was good.
I didn't see the ratings, but I assume because of the dud explosion, I feel like it's not going to hurt them in the ratings because people are going to want to see how they covered it up or how they react to it. So in the end, this might actually be something good for AEW somehow, some way. It could end up.
There's been bloopers on WWE and a pay-per-view, and then everybody wanting to go see what's going to happen on Raw from the blooper. So sometimes a blooper can help you. It is true.
Mike, any other comments on Dynamite before we?
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing, Kenny would be remiss if we didn't talk about Ethan Page being the surprise at the pay-per-view. So obviously he didn't win the match with Scorpio getting the brass ring, but it was nice to see him in a one-on-one match on Dynamite and picking up the win. So I can see good things for him coming there. He's going to be another one of those probably mid-card guys, but easily can put on good matches with a majority of their roster. So that really stood out to me. I mean, you had the Christian and Sting and all the interruptions that happened and stuff like that. And that big women's tag match was kind of a clusterfuck, I guess. I was disappointed in Scorpio getting the title shot, as we talked about earlier, that quickly and then losing. But like we said, it looks like he's going to kind of maybe turn here. And there's big things for him coming. So, and then the match that started the show with the one half of the Young Bucks and Ray Phoenix, that was a really, really entertaining match too. So good overall show for AEW. Probably better than the pay-per-view that we paid $50 for.
Absolutely.
I think you might be able to argue that,
or at least on par with it,
Yeah, for a 2-hour show compared to a 4-hour or 5-hour show.
Yep, definitely. DJ, you got we're like in line here. I got the new titles in NXT, and you got NXT show was fire. NXT for as good, in my opinion, for as good as AEW Dynamite was this week, NXT stole the show, and that was the best weekly wrestling show I think I've watched in a long, long time with NXT, man.
Wednesday was just I had to tell people I can't talk right now on Wednesday night because the whole
I need a cigarette.
Yeah, just the whole night. It reminded me of an old Monday night when you had the Monday Night Wars, and then both shows you couldn't turn away from. So it was just like that. It's man. Then NXT came along, and they put on a show. If you didn't watch it, for our listeners that are AEW only people, I invite you to watch this last NXT. I do, because it's man, it was They put on it like they knew that they were following AEW's pay-per-view and that they were going to have and they knew AEW was going to have a show tonight, a good one. So they're like, okay, we're going to at least going to be on par with them.
Yeah.
And they did.
You guys know I've been a huge NXT guy since we started this podcast, where I started watching it weekly. And yeah, man, this was one of the best episodes I've seen. We got the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. I thought this was kind of weird. I don't think it took anything away from the show, but I think it was weird that they gave them and then took them away. I'm cool with Shotzi and Ember Moon having them, but but what's the point of giving them to them if they're just taking? What's the point of giving them to? I can't think of the names. Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, right?
Well, I mean, they had it where Raquel is getting the next title shot. So,
right.
I mean, it was kind of played off of that.
That's
but
true.
Yeah, I mean, they won the tournament and were Otto handed the titles. That part's kind of but they did win a tournament, deserved something.
So that made sense to me.
So that part works for me. Taking it off of them, yeah, maybe you should have left it on them, but it was more of a surprise that, oh man, they just won these belts. They already lost them. I'm okay with that. Yeah. And you ended up having, outside of the tag titles and Gargano's title, all your other titles were defended last night pretty much. So,
yep.
Yeah, and it was more about the wrestling on this show than it was the story. There was a little bit more storytelling, I guess, on AEW. But like the actual in-ring wrestling on NXT, outside of maybe the Caden Carter Xia Li match, the rest of the show was high grades. Very entertaining, really good like wrestling to fit all that in 2 hours. So you get women's titles introduced. We get the official announcement that Kenny was breaking earlier in the day that we're getting a 2-night NXT takeover for Mania week.
Right. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, one night on USA and one night on the network. So that'll be cool. Mania is gonna be nuts. I mean, so much. We're gonna have Raw, we're gonna have SmackDown, you're gonna have a regular AEW, 2 nights of NXT, 2 nights of Mania. Like, I hope no one has plans or spring break or things. You're pretty much going to be on my couch every night for 3 to 4 hours, it sounds like.
The DVR is going to be on fire.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Clear your space.
Let's hope we've got everything worked out with Peacock moving over by then. So
we'll get into that in a second.
We're going to get into that, yeah.
So, but Toni Storm, super impressed by her on Wednesday night. Obviously not winning the title, but I'm glad to see her move over from the UK show. You had Rhea move over a long time ago, and eventually their champion, Katie, who's had the belt for what seems like 2 or 3 years. I think eventually will eventually also be on this main roster, but her and Walter are really carrying the company right Walter's now. So yeah. At some point you got to do it, but yeah, you got great storytelling going with Finn Balor and Karrion Kross, and then the split of Undisputed Era. Yeah, the NXT is going to stay on fire. It's going to be hard for them to really drop the ball on any of the stuff they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Especially,
this is why I was going off on Dave Metzler for saying Tony Khan is the Booker of the Year.
Right?
I'm like, no, Triple H is on fire.
Well, yeah, because like NXT is going to do everything they can. Like every year they have this show the night before Mania. We're like, how's Mania going to follow this? Now you get 2 nights of NXT up against 2 nights of Mania. Like, I think you're going to get some really entertaining shows, especially knowing Mania is going to have a crowd and it's going to be their first show in over a year with a crowd. I don't know what NXT is going to do this year. I assume the Combat Zone or Combat Wrestling, whatever it's called. I assume they'll do the show there, but who's to say? I don't think they've made those announcements yet.
No,
so.
it's whatever.
Florida.
It's whatever. Florida, so. It's whatever Cameron Grimes named it. Remember, he changed the name of it.
Wow. God, I love Cameron Grimes.
I was just gonna say,
he's so good.
I've done a big 180 on him. I wasn't a big fan in the beginning, and then he had this character where he has all this money now, and there's a couple of moves he did last night where I was just like, holy shit, like very impressive. One other thing I'll say is Fig Knight 27 appeared on NXT, and I'm glad that he is like I know he's already a star, but I think he's going to be really good in NXT. I was saying to somebody tonight while I was doing trivia, we were talking some wrestling, and I think like in a year he's going to be top of the food chain there in NXT.
No, he will. And folks, for everybody that is a new listener, he's talking about LA Knight on NXT.
Fig Knight is DJ's social media handles, and LA Knight stole it.
He's not even from LA, and DJ is. This is shenanigans.
Bullshit, man. Bullshit. Gimmick infringement.
Still waiting for a check.
Yeah. All right, the last two. We got one more thing each here, and they both come from Raw. I just happened to notice. I actually didn't watch a ton of Raw this week. Same old shit. And but I did notice Lashley's new entrance. I said to you guys before we started recording because I wasn't sure. I was like, is this like is going to be his new entrance, or did WWE just go totally overboard this week because of the debacle with the AEW and they knew it? Like there was a little extra pyro this week. Like you could just kind of tell they were kind of like, hey, watch this. And so I saw the Lashley entrance and I was like, this is cool. They're overdoing it a ton, but is this because of AEW, or are they doing this as like some kind of new feat? Like they have those new cameras for the pay-per-views, and they're trying to be, they're trying to make things better. So I wasn't sure if it was a dig at AEW or if it's going to be the real deal. If it's a real deal, like I could get used to it. It made it very like theater like very like a movie.
And he's a champion. Like, here's a champion walking down the aisle.
Important. Yeah, important.
I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest with you. We'll find out for sure next week, of course.
Right.
But I think it's a little bit of both. They saw what happened at the end, and it's like, all right, let's show these guys how you really do pyro. So I did like the interest though. Like they, and I like when they do the 8K camera when they're walking down the aisle. It looks dope.
It looks good. It almost has like a kind of like a video game type feel to it. So that like swooping camera and those angles and stuff, like it looks really impressive on TV. So I hope they keep with it. It'll be really cool to see what they do for Mania for the show this year.
Oh man. Yeah.
Before we get to DJ's third and final thing, I just want to shout out New Day's Mortal Kombat gear. That was
yes. Yeah.
And I'm sure it's ending up in Kenny's closet at some point. He's gonna buy that stuff.
Can I get one of the gloves, dude? Like if you're gonna get the gear. That's all. I just wanted the gloves.
Yeah, and even Ed Boon, like the creator of Mortal Kombat, like tweeted about it. So they were getting a lot of press out of it. So I love that they're big video game guys, and that Vince doesn't have any problem with them doing stuff like that, or the Brody Lee like changing up their ring gear every week and stuff, and then selling it for charity and stuff like that. So
Vince is about money. You're making money with that, so you're making him money with that. So he's not going to have a problem with it.
All right, DJ, your last thing was from Raw as well. What do you got?
It looks like we're going to get the Shane WrestleMania match is going to be with. Looks like it's going to be with Strowman. What do you guys like? Shane's going to jump off of something high, and what do you guys think? I honestly forgot about Shane until I saw that on Raw, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna get a match, at Mania. Like totally forgot. Not like whatever. Not excited for it. Like just whatever. It's whatever. I think he takes up a spot for. I honestly think he takes up a spot for somebody this could be a chance.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a way to put Braun over, because I don't think Braun wants to really lose to just some mid-tier type guy, because obviously he's not in the title picture right now. But yeah, just to be probably another 3 weeks of Shane running, and then eventually they fight, and there's some big spot that Shane does, but in the end, I would assume if they really have a match unless there's a swerve happening here. I just assume Braun is going to win, and then that'll kind of push him maybe into a title picture with Lashley. But yeah, the whole pyro thing and the backstage interviews and how much they're putting. I know he's the champion, but as much as they're putting Lashley and MVP and stuff on TV, I've kind of done a 181 on liking Lashley too. I don't think Drew is winning this belt back at Mania. I think there's a good chance Lashley is holding on to it unless they add Brock Lesnar, because there's a lot of rumors that might be a thing, or that might be something at SummerSlam or later in the year if he's coming back. But yeah, if they have a one-on-one match, I kind of feel like they might keep the belt on Lashley.
Yeah, I was actually just, as I was like kind of scrolling through here to see, like, read about what happened on Raw a little bit. Yeah, I might have to retract my prediction that Drew's going to win it in front of a crowd. Like, it's not looking that way. One of my buddies keeps going, no, it's going to be Drew and Sheamus at Mania. And I'm like, no, they got Fastlane before that. And I'm like, yeah, that's a waste of Drew. So I don't know what they're going to do. All right, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, and it's starting to look like the Hurt business is damn near babyface. They're not really doing heelish stuff right now, if you think about it. And they're getting a positive reaction. So they're like, we kind of know that WrestleMania is supposed to be like the home team winning the championship at the end. Right. So this is like, they're starting to look babyface here. So like you said, like, it's not looking, it's kind of not looking good for Drew to win this.
I kind of like it. Like, I kind of like not knowing what's happening. Like, a couple years ago, like, everything was like super predictable about like what was, going to happen. Like, we knew all the matches like a year in advance, and I kind of like that we don't really know what's going to happen right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm hoping with the 2 nights of Mania and the first night back in front of a crowd, like, I'm hoping there's some big surprises coming, stuff we don't expect. Maybe not so much in matches, but maybe like returns or appearances or stuff. But we'll see. I mean, they've got there's plenty of matches to fill 2 cards. I hope they do something big for the crowd that's willing to go to that show.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Before we get into the week of news, you guys got anything else for those 6 things that we decided to talk about, or you guys good to move on?
I think we're good.
All right. Let's check in with Kenny. He's got Kenny's Impact Minute here for this week. If you guys gotta go to the bathroom, I won't start without you guys.
I'm good.
I just need to let this thing run for a minute. It's easier to have too much than not enough. For the video portion. Oh. Yeah, he hasn't responded, so his kids must have won some kind of battle.
I'm assuming he laid down or something with them and just
he must have fell asleep. Yeah,
pull the Phil Gentile and just fell asleep.
I've been guilty of that. I can't shit on anybody for that. I actually almost did it tonight. It feels like I haven't seen my son all week, and he was in bed with my wife when I got home, and I like crawled in with him, and I was like, "Oh, I need to get up, or I'm gonna pass out here and have the same." That'd be just like Kenny, but. All right, here we go. All right, thanks to Kenny for the Impact Minute. He was actually supposed to be on here with us, and we don't know what happened with he said he was going to put his kids to bed and he'd be right back, and we haven't heard from him since. So his kids either murdered him. God, I hope something really didn't happen. But or
I think he must have rested his eyes.
Yeah, or that head hit the pillow. He's laying down with the kids, and he's out for the count. He's out like Eddie Kingston in a barbed wire death match, exploding barbed wire death match. So, all right, we'll run.
I'm using that now. That's it. That's going to be a saying for me now.
We'll run through some news here. We talked about NXT TakeOver being 2 nights. Molly Holly is the official first entrant into the Hall of Fame for 2021. They did say that they were going to do both, like the 2020 class and the 2021 class together. So that will be on the network or Peacock at some point as well. And then
long show.
It's
yeah.
Yeah, it's the night after Raw, so it's the Tuesday before Mania.
Is that when it's on TV, or is that when they're actually doing it? Because I know sometimes they put it.
I thought it said it was on Peacock. I thought it said it in the press release. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many people are in the 2021 class, because you already got 6 or 7 or 8 people in last year's class. So we'll see how they do that. And then I'm actually
Molly.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk about this for a minute. Molly Holly, I think there's like some articles I saw like scrolling around saying that she was like ahead of her time and stuff like that. I was always a fan of her. She was actually like, I think what they're trying to say is like she was in this diva era of like bra and panties matches, and she could actually wrestle.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I think she trained a lot of them. I know she trained Tori Wilson a lot and some of those girls. So yeah, she was probably, hey, I can wrestle the Litas, the Trishas, and stuff like that. But they gave her this superhero gimmick, which actually worked out well for her.
I liked it. Yeah.
But and it probably prolonged her career on TV, because she probably was one of those people that like, yeah, you can wrestle, but you're expendable. But yeah,
she didn't have a real It wasn't like she was a Holly, right? She was one of the Hollies, and that didn't really, we weren't all that into the Hollies.
Yeah, I mean,
we weren't. I loved Crash Holly. All right,
Crash Holly, but it's like, were you in
hardcore Holly?
Yeah,
I mean, I make no qualms about saying that I like my women with a little bass, and she did have that. So I was always a Molly Holly fan.
Well, and her biggest things outside of that were probably the shaved head thing with Victoria, right? So I mean, yeah. So she had like some big moments on TV, and she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Like you start looking at some of the people that are in, and you go, well, yeah, she deserves to be there at this point. Yeah. So
she's a multiple-time champ, right? So
right.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff from Molly Holly. I'm curious. Yeah, like you said, Mike, man, I'm curious to see it. I love the Hall of Fame announcements. I don't like when they leak them early, though. I miss the days of like you had to watch Raw to find out who was getting.
And this one didn't. It got announced on their social media. Like no one knew it was, because she didn't even know it was happening. So
yeah, the Hurricane did it on the bump. So and he got choked up like saying it to her, like telling her.
Well, yeah, they were partners, so that was that I think that was the right person to announce it.
Yeah, hopefully it's him that gets to put her in. I could see it being him or Beth Phoenix, because I know Beth and her trained together, and Beth talked about Molly Holly in her Hall of Fame speech. So
it's going
to be an interesting show this year, because I don't know how they're going to do it, or if they're going to allow a crowd since they're doing a Mania crowd, or if it's going to be kind of the old school Hall of Fame where it's kind of like in a smaller building. It's just kind of the family and the presenters and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's good. I love the Hall of Fame. It's like one of my favorite things to watch all year. The transfer to Peacock is going to suck. Let's just say that. This is going to. So we've talked about it on this podcast before. I am a guy who watches the network all the time. Like I will be working from home and I'll just have stuff on. I was watching Superstars today, and just just had it on in the background. But so obviously we're getting WrestleMania, we're getting TakeOver. We're not gonna get everything uploaded to the network until SummerSlam, they say, which is wild. So like those episodes of Superstars, those episodes of Raw, like I'm sure it's gonna be like a slow build. Like I'm sure it's not just right before SummerSlam everything's gonna be on there, but it just sucks that all this stuff is going away. The Major Brothers brought up a great point on their podcast. Like, does this bring back the value of DVDs? I got rid of all my wrestling DVDs, and to be honest with you, like I couldn't give them away. Some of them I end up just throwing away because I didn't have I put it on Facebook Marketplace, put them in the Facebook groups to try to sell them, and nobody had any interest in them. And I was trying to sell them for like $5. I wasn't even trying to like make a ton of money, cover my shipping costs or whatever. So yeah, it's gonna be a little stressful for a couple months with no WWE network.
I think I'm lucky that before the network, the way I would purchase a lot on Vudu. So those never went away, like, because it's digital. So I got lucky in that aspect that I can always go back to the documentaries that I purchased on there and watch them. But like you said, that's, and I do like, if you remember the early days of the network, they weren't as loaded as it is now, on the early days of the network. So it'd probably be something like that.
Yep. I'm actually looking on here. The Verge has, when was this? This was published on the 8th. So it was like 3 days ago. It will look like Peacock, but feel familiar to WWE fans. These are just some of the bullet points that they put up. And this is exactly what we were just saying. You'll be waiting a few months for all those pay-per-views. Bad news. WWE's network, huge vault, WWE, WCW, and ECW pay-per-views won't be ready for day one. Instead, Peacock is promising to have all that content available before SummerSlam, which is in August. This means pro wrestling fans can go several weeks without any convenient way to watching those past events, since WWE Network app will be history in the US. International version will still be available. You could get one of those VPN services and keep it.
It's started making me think how many people are going to try to find ways to log into like the European accounts, because Peacock in the US is what happens with WWE Network, but in all these other countries it stays the same. So
right.
Yeah, between like VPNs and stuff. I mean, I feel really bad for these guys that do guys and girls that do podcasts that cover old pay-per-views. They're not going to have access to those for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I know they said every WrestleMania will be uploaded immediately, but not, like you said, not SummerSlam or Survivor Series or any of like the old smaller pay-per-views, like all that stuff a little bit at a time. But yeah, it's very disappointing. I get like they're doing some promos for the rates and prorating and stuff like that. But yeah, like a lot of times that's what I turn on. It's just like, oh, I'm going to watch Survivor Series 92 or Slamboree 94 or something, just a random pay-per-view to kind of just be background noise. Yeah. The only thing that it sounds like what's going to be on there is all the Manias, the most current like documentaries and stuff, and whatever's like live. And yeah, that really sucks, especially for people who've had the network for like all 7 years. They just kind of, here it is. Now we're going to take it away from you for the next 3 to 6 months, maybe.
Don't know what you got till it's gone, baby.
Right.
A couple other things. This thing says match markers are no more. So another potential disappointment to frequent WWE Network. You can't just pick a random match like scrolling through.
Something about they were going to try to implement some kind of like scrub program to kind of fast forward, but yeah, not being able to just pick and choose like on your feed where to start. That sucks. That sucks.
And search won't be as comprehensive as it was on WWE Network. I don't think I've ever actually used the search like typing function. I just randomly look for stuff. So we'll get through it all together, guys. We will get through it, and we're gonna try to do a WrestleMania watch along before all this happens. So
say goodbye to the network.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that makes even more sense than to do it like that, the way we were talking, where we all pick a match to watch. I think we might have to do it that way to say goodbye to the network. And then the last thing here is, DJ, you've put this in, no more leg slaps.
Yeah, I've read this report that WWE does not want the superstars to do leg slaps. So those of you that are not familiar, like say, for example, you throw a super kick. When it looks like that kick is connecting, they do a leg slap so that there's get some kind of a noise that happens for the connection. And no more. They don't want it anymore. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I thought I heard it was all Vince actually that was against that.
Mm-hmm. That would make sense to me, that Vince would like just come up with something. I don't want that anymore.
Right. It doesn't bother me. Sorry,
yeah, there's time. No, just same. Like, it doesn't bother me because there's times that it seems like it's overused or it's too obvious that they're not connecting. or they totally miss and they still do the leg slap, and you're like, but she didn't hit her, or he didn't hit that person. But when they do connect, and if there's not some kind of sound, or they get really close and it looks like they connect,
right?
Will that take away? I don't know. I guess we'll see how things play
Sean
out on
is like
TV.
a master. You know, Sean was a master. Like the sweet chin music with the leg slap, he was a master at it. And
it's a lot louder when you hit those leather pants.
That's right. The Usos' old shorts.
Yes. Or Goldust.
Yeah, Goldust did it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like not latex, but like the shiny shit. It looks like a trash bag.
Right.
Real quick,
Kenny, and the pads on the boots too. So.
Yep. Real quick, Kenny update. He says, "Man, I'm sorry. I fell asleep in the kids' room, and my wife just came in and got me." And then he sent a gif of, "I'm so sorry. I failed you. You trusted me, and I failed you." So I told him, wait till he listens to this episode. He said, "Oh man." He said, "Oh man, I think he feels like he's gonna get the Phil treatment because Phil's fallen asleep on us a bunch of times too." So,
so he's for real. But so this time he's for real buying beer.
All right, guys, that's it for the week in wrestling and the wrestling segment of the show. It's time now to walk that toy aisle. Walk That Toy Aisle is brought to you by brand new sponsor, stackofcards.com. That's Stack of Cards with a Z. Go there every Friday. The store is updated. You also want to make sure you're following them on social media because they've been giving away free packs and you got to claim them.
Yes, they have been. Yes, they have.
Turn your notifications on and then go buy some cards. Cards are so freaking hot right now. Keep your eye on stackofcards.com and use the code RUN10 at checkout. Save yourself 10%. All right, kind of a slow week here for wrestling, figure news, and actually all toy news, really. We were talking right before we started recording that, it could be because Access, WrestleMania is right around the corner, and they're kind of holding out on some stuff. So real quick, we'll run through some stuff. We got the new AEW Wave announced, Wave 6 of Unrivaled, and only 2 new figures. It's Jericho, MJF, Phoenix, and Penta, Shida, and Hager. Shida and Hager end up being your 2 brand new from this line. Any thoughts on this, guys? Were you reusing 4 guys out of this set, like getting them new figures?
Well, definitely, I want the sheet. Like I've been waiting for a Shida figure, so I'm happy about that. I don't get I think Hager should have been probably down the line a little bit, to be honest. My thought, I've always kind of felt like they have this roster, where's for example, where's the FTR figures? I have a Phoenix and a Penta figure already. I have an MJF figure already. We have, how many Jerichos do we have?
Right.
So, so how about, FTR, maybe throw in Telly Blanchard if you want. You have some people that you can, Chuck Taylor, where's, Wardlow,
Britt Baker still doesn't have a figure.
Yeah, Britt Baker still does not have a figure. So you got people, I would go ahead and get that. Thunder Rosa would be, even though she's a part-timer, but you would get you could work a deal out with her and give her a couple bucks a figure,
right?
And she's toyetic, so there's just other people. There's other people I think could have been in line here.
Yeah, for sure. I think it wouldn't have been so bad either if you had a bigger name than Shida and Hager as the 2 that weren't that were the 2 new figures. You're getting Jericho, MJF, Phoenix, and Penta. Everybody's already got them. If you had 2 bangers for those last 2, it probably wouldn't be as big of a deal. Where it's but those 2 are so underwhelming. I know Sheeta's the champion and stuff, but I think if you put Britt Baker in there instead, and like you said, there's a handful of other guys that could have gotten figures instead of Hager, but. Yeah,
I think you probably should have had 4 new people and maybe 2 repeats or 1 repeat. 4 repeats is a lot,
right? That's a lot,
especially if you're one of these people who are like, I just need the best Penta, the best Jericho. You're not buying all of them. I mean, I know there are people out there that are going to buy every AEW figure that comes out. So maybe Jazzwares are just looking at this like, well, here's an easy like money maker. We'll just release the same person in a different costume or design. It's not as big of a deal. I do know that a lot of toy companies, these deals are signed like a year or more in advance sometimes. So like maybe that's why we're not seeing FTR. They haven't been there long enough. Like seems like they have, but maybe they had to promise like, hey, you're getting this figure or this many figures within this time window before you can even get to FTR and Wardlow and stuff like that. But like the Britt Baker thing, like that makes no sense. Like I feel like when she gets a figure, she's gonna be the Chase also. Like she deserves to have. I think she deserves to have two at the same time. So
I also think when
they're churning a bunch of these figures out. Like we're gonna get another 2 or 3 series probably before the end of the year, but we still have the Luchasaurus series to hit stores in this one, and you may only have 1 or 2 more announced before the end of the year. So yeah, there's definitely some big omissions. And when you start already seeing repeat people as big as their roster is, it's kind of disappointing. But I mean, how many people are going to buy a Chuck Taylor figure if they make one? Like, I think that's why eventually you'll start seeing tag team packs, kind of like they did the Blood Brothers. Like, they probably should have, if you're going to do Penta and Phoenix a second time, you probably should have just done a double pack. That way people, if they really want them, it's in a double pack, not 2 singles.
Right. Eddie Guerrero pop, picture of it surfaced on Twitter. Let's see here. Who's got it? Wrestling Fig News. Wrestling Figure News Source has a picture of it from Serlent Pops. SERLENT Pops on Instagram. Looks pretty good. I don't know if you guys saw it. Looks like a pop, like an Eddie Guerrero pop would look. Comes with a pin. That's a GameStop exclusive, right, Mike?
Yeah, in the States, it's GameStop exclusive. That one probably has it's got like the special edition sticker on it, like a big, so that usually happens in like Europe and Australia. They get stuff a month before us. So like anything that's a GameStop exclusive or Hot Topic, if they don't have that stuff there, they're just commons or a website exclusive stuff. So they always seem to get those before us, like the Andre the Giant, like that oversized pop. I ordered that from like Australia and got it like 2 months before it ever released here. So, but now a lot of those pops, they won't ship to the States anymore. I don't know if that's a COVID thing or they just we're tired of everybody buying it up from them when eventually it'll be released here. So
off topic real quick, Mike, I'm going to ask you, cause you're in the biz. You might not have the answer. I don't know, but, I was talking when we were with Kenny and Carlos and DJ at this Heroes Hideout thing last Saturday or Sunday. We were talking about pops, and I always say, like, if you look at like mom and pop comic book shops or collectible shops, they always have a million pops, and I feel like pops actually keep those places in business because, for one thing, they have to be. I think what keeps it going is the fact that they can't cost a whole lot to order. It's got to cost like a store like mom and pops so-and-so card and collectibles like $3 to order these each, and then they're selling them for like 10 to 12, maybe a little bit more, maybe they're $5-6 each, but like they're all charging almost double for that. Like, do you know how much a retail store buys a pop for, since you're in the biz?
Not exactly. I know the profit margin on any collectible is ridiculous. I mean, it's so high. That's why they discount stuff so often and run buy 2 get 1 free sales and stuff like that, because regardless of what they sell it for, they're probably making a profit. Mom and pop stores, though, like unless they have some kind of like contract or agreement, like they definitely are paying more than a GameStop or Hot Topic or whatever, because GameStop's buying 5,000 of the same Eddie Guerrero pop to sell compared to mom and pop's buying 5 or 6 or 1. Some of those mom and pop places just buy them at the retail place and then resell them if they can't get
True.
them directly.
Yep.
Or they buy them when there is a sale and then they take them back to their store. But yeah, sometimes they'll just take a loss on that because they're going to make money on something else. I mean, that's what Walmart and Amazon and Target do. Like, they'll mark one item down because you're going to go over and buy groceries that are higher priced, and that's where they'll make up their profit. Where a place like GameStop is a specific, that's all you're buying there is that item. So
Right.
they can't undercut that cost nearly as much. So yeah, I don't know what they're really paying, but obviously they're probably making a little bit of money if they can get that agreement. But yeah, you would have to have some kind of like presence in your business. Otherwise, I can't see Funko being like, oh yeah, we'll ship you these at cost and stuff. So you would have to have some kind of business license or something, or just agree to buy so many per year or up front maybe.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah,
but yeah, Pops are one of those things. Like I know we're all talking, or a lot of us talking about going to Toy Vomit toy headquarters. That guy's got a wall of Pops, and a lot of them are like $5 because they just want to get rid of a lot of them unless they're super rare or older, harder to find ones, or out of print. So it's just a way to get people in because there's so many people who are addicted to them and want all of the Simpsons or all of the Star Wars, and there's hundreds and hundreds, and there's store exclusives. So if you're trying to hunt down all of them, you might be overpaying because I got to have this specific one. But shit, I didn't buy it 3 years ago. I've got to pay $50-$60 for it compared to $10 or $15. So it's a rabbit hole to go down. Like, I know Phil talks about only buying some of the certain wrestling ones because he sees the Office Pops, and it's like, I can't go down this because there's so many already out. I'm not going to be able to find these older ones. And that's it. The older ones might be the original look of the characters. Now all the new ones that are out are like weird poses or like birthday themed or glow in the dark. Like, they're not based off the original character. And that kind of takes away from collectors now, unless you're just a completionist. But Pops are just like wrestling figures or Marvel or anything else, where some of these people are just super into it and they're in the store every day looking for Pops. That's why I'm so surprised how like bare the walls are at Target right now for Pops.
Yeah, it's crazy. My DJ saw one of the Targets near me. Like, there was nothing for Pops there.
You got lucky. You got lucky.
Yeah, I did. We'll get into that in weekly purchases. All right, we got off topic there real quick on the Pops. Let's jump right back into wrestling figure news. Zombie Sailor, man, with these retros, he announced this week that Rock and Roll Express are going to be part of his retro line. I think I'm going to jump in on those.
I like Rock and Roll Express.
I think they're from that era of like the original Hasbros. So like, I feel like I kind of have to have them. Even though they weren't in WWF at the time, like, but I just feel like they're part of that era that I need them. And then Chala Toys, they put a picture up, and then I thought it was going to be like, I thought they were teasing a Davey Boy Smith, but I was listening to the Major Brothers, and they're saying that it's Dynamite Kid with a cape and Matilda or Winston, whichever bulldog they had at the time. So I don't know if you guys saw this picture. I'm not sure if they're just kind of, it was from underneath. So it was like, you saw the feet, the dog, and the cape. So it didn't say it was Davey Boy or anything like that, but I'm curious if they somehow got a deal with Davey Boy, even though I think Davey Boy is still under contract with WWE, clearly, because he just had an Elite come out. But just curious if it is Davey Boy. Dynamite Kid with all that, that's still pretty freaking cool. I'm so Mike, I know you're in on these retros.
Yeah. So far, like the Cella Toys ones, hit or miss. All the Zombie Sailor ones have been pretty much home runs so far. And then there are, of course, plenty of other ones out there, and maybe one day Mattel will bring them back. So yeah, the stuff about Dynamite, like, I would be shocked if there's a Davey Boy one, just because he's going in the Hall of Fame this year. He's got that network special coming out, so I would assume, and he just had that Elite. So maybe this is one of those things where people buy a second one and somebody makes a custom head for it. But yeah, the details on that Zombie Sailor one of Matt Cardona this week, like even down to like only seeing half of the tattoo behind his like knee pad and boots.
Yep.
Super impressive. Like,
crazy.
I don't know what they're going to charge for these figures. Hopefully, let's stay under $30 because like when you're used to only paying 10 or 15 for retros, but the details and what it looks like they're putting into it are going to make Mattel one retros and maybe even Hasbro's just look inferior to these. So really interested to see who he gets signed, because it sounds like by the time these release, I keep hearing Q3. That first series might be like 10 people maybe. So could be a pricey thing. And he said in his interview with Phil, like he's not producing 10-20,000 of these like a Mattel would. He's going to be lower numbers, so they might go quick. He wants everybody to be able to get one that wants one, but he's not going to be able to make thousands and millions of these things.
Right.
It's not that kind of deal when it's kind of him on his own, but we'll see where it goes. But I'm super hyped for a lot of these.
Yeah, same here. And it's getting me itchy for other Hasbros.
And with another like stimulus check hitting, like the Hasbro and retro stuff that's not available anymore, like those prices aren't going back down anytime soon.
Nope. No. I just bought it'll be here next week, probably for next week's show. I just bought one of the groups that I'll tell you who it is next week, but when I actually get it. But they basically were like, I opened this, put it in a case, and haven't done much with it. So I'm selling it for this much. And I was like, it was a price and it was what guy I need. I got to try to finish my Hasbro collection. But like with like you said, with the prices of the way they are right now, it's just too much money. And I'm just going to try to wait for them to come back down at some point, because it's just, I'm not paying $300, $400, $500 for a 1, 2, 3 kid or Ludwig Borga or any of that stuff. So we'll wait on those a little bit. We'll use some patience. So your weekly Ninja Turtles update. NECA released the pictures of the turtles in disguise. Big question I got when I posted it in the Fig Cave from a few people were, can you take their pants off? Not because they're weird, just because people missed out on the cartoon turtles the first time. So they're wondering if they buy these, if they can take the disguises off. Yes, everything is removable, according to NECA. So look out for those. You can see the pictures on our social media. And then also NECA sent out an email this week about some delays with some stuff that should be shipping. Slash and Leatherhead 2-pack, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 1990 accessory set, and the cartoon diorama will begin shipping as soon as they are in hand. Due to the current shipping climate, these shipments have been delayed but should be arriving in the next few weeks. You will receive an email notification with tracking when your order ships. Please note that the following pre-orders should be shipping at the following times. So Slash and Leatherhead is March 2021. The accessory set, which I actually pre-ordered, is Q1 of 2021. Let's see here. Cartoon diorama is Q1 2021. Rocksteady and Bebop 2-pack, if you still need that, is Q2 of 2021. 1990 movie Foot Soldier 2-pack with weapon rack is summer of 2021. And then movie Splinter and Shredder 2-pack, which I think is like showing up back in Walmart's again.
Yes, they are.
Is summer of 2021 if you ordered those from NECA. So just a brief update there.
I mean, at least they're keeping people informed, and a lot of things people are looking for are hitting stores again. And the delays suck. It kind of sounds like an excuse, but obviously we know a lot of things haven't changed climate-wise over the last year. So we'll get them when they're ready. But it's nice to see some of that stuff being available for people who missed it. But I like that the Loot Crate stuff's not being re-released. It doesn't sound like the Token Razor are ever going to be released unless they do like single packs. Because I don't know if you've looked lately on eBay, but that thing is skyrocketed again in value.
Oh no!
So
I fucked up. I should have bought 2 of them.
Right.
Oh no!
One to resell, but all right, moving right along here. DJ sent this to me. I can't believe this thing exists. I actually forgot about the Mattel Creations site. So it's like a big deal, like over the summer, like with San Diego Comic-Con, like that's where you were supposed to be able to order Mr. T and stuff like that. And so DJ sends this over to me. It's Star Wars and Mandalorian, The Child, Collector Edition Plush with Hover Pram. It's basically a life-size plush of Baby Yoda or the child in his little carrier thing for $400.
Because the carrier, like they really did a good job on this carrier.
For $400, they're better of.
I don't know if it hovers, right? But they're pushing this bad boy like somebody that's in love with Baby Yoda is going to plop down that $400. Like
people will buy this.
Oh yeah,
yes,
people will buy this for sure. And they won't bat an eye on it. And it's one of those things. These kind of things, like these pre-orders, like we were just talking about with Toka and Razor and stuff. You order them and then you can't get them anymore. And people are like, oh, fuck, I missed out. So then the value goes up instantly. Like people will sleep on this and the value will go up instantly. And it's like the back the barge stuff. It's the
I'm reading it now. I'm reading the details now. And so no detail was spared from his elaborate robe to his protective pram with motorized doors and adjustable stand for the and it looks like it sounded like Dr. Seuss wrote that, but so they went all in basically is what they're saying.
What company was doing that?
Mattel.
It is Mattel. Okay.
Yeah, it's on their creation site there. So actually, this could be encouraging to see them actually doing some stuff on this creation site. Like maybe they'll get more. Like Hasbro has like the back of the barge. They did the a couple other things. They did the ship there from Mandalorian. Hasbro did.
Right.
So
this is something you can order, or is it one of those things that has to hit a like a Kickstarter type go to get put in?
They're ready for pre-order.
Okay. Yeah, they're ready for pre-order.
And it's limited time pre-order.
Sure. Well, $400. I can't assume they're going to make a ton of them because you're not going to sell a ton, but it's going to be one of those super sought after items because one, it's Star Wars, two, there's not going to be many.
Right.
In fact, it ends at 9 a.m.
Oh, wow. So it was that short.
Tomorrow. So by the time 9 a.m. my time tomorrow.
Wow. So you drop that on people. Like it's not, hey, next week, it's today. And you've got to drop $400. I know a lot of people are about to get $1,400.
Right.
And the people who aren't getting $1,400, $400 isn't a big deal to them. But man, that's a lot of money just to drop out of nowhere on a Star Wars thing. Is there a date? Like when it's shipping or anything?
I didn't see one actually. Now that you say that.
Yeah, I remember seeing somebody tweet about it. I don't think it was Jeremy Perdau or somebody today just mentioning should I spend $400, and I thought they were joking that it was $400 because I didn't read up on it. That's crazy.
So I'm sure this is and I'm sure this is an email that I just happened to catch today. Yeah. But this has probably been out for I just probably happened to glance and see it.
Yeah, I just remember seeing something on Twitter today, so I don't know if it was new or if it's just becoming such a not a news story, but a lot of things being shared because of the popularity of Star Wars. So
it was available for a week. So
it
started on the 5th and ends on the 12th. The pre-order. So that's crazy. I kind of want it though.
There it
is. they made you want it, huh?
Put him right here. Have him sit next to me while we're doing the show.
We just need to let Kyle Peterson buy everything and just charge admission to come see it every once in a while. That way we don't have to buy it, but maybe we own 1% of it.
Kyle, if I'm ever in Iowa, man, I'm coming over for dinner.
I'm about to say I want a tour. Yeah, I definitely want a tour. I'll give you $5.
Yeah,
for a tour.
Hasbro also released some images of Wanda Vision Marvel Legends. These are gonna be hot. Like people already we put this on our Instagram and people were commenting they want this. They want to know where to find it and all that stuff. So these actually look phenomenal. Yeah. You can check out the Foosh has the pictures and Hasbro Pulse has the pictures. So definitely
they've been emailing me all day about these figures.
You're gonna get them? Probably. You loved Wanda Vision, right? Well, I mean, we'll
I
get
love
into it a little bit later.
WandaVision, and Vision just happens to be like a character I really like.
Nice.
So and you know, I'm going to get into WandaVision later, but yeah, and this version of Vision is like they're following stuff, like they're following the source material. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it looks. I actually was thinking today, man. I was like, man, I have this Marvel Legend, like collection, and I went all comic book with it, like from the beginning. And I'm kind of like, man, I kind of wish I went MCU, like, or both. But I'm not starting out like with the pops. Like, I'm not going back to square one for a lot of these that I missed out on,
right?
Because it's just too much. It's just too much. All right,
it is.
A couple weeks ago, we put a question into the middle of our Walk That Toy aisle just to kind of like what are we looking for at this point and stuff like that. So I had another one. This came up in one of the groups, and I was curious what you guys thought. When you're out toy hunting, would you rather see empty pegs or pegs full of peg warmers? Like, what would you rather? I mean, obviously, we're in a weird time with collecting. Like, you go to Walmart and there's literally nothing. Target, a lot of times there's nothing. When you walk into Target, obviously, besides finding what you're looking for, would you rather see a shelf full of pegs full of peg warmers or pegs full of nothing? Mike, you go first, man.
I don't think you ever want to see empty shelves, but if I walk in and see 30 of the same figure, I don't want to see that, because that's what I've been seeing at Walmart with like that purple Undertaker that Walmart restocked. Some of my locations have had those and pretty much nothing else. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're hunting for, because if there's a million of something on the wall, then all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm in no rush to buy it. It'll be here. Then,
the real Ghostbusters is a perfect example of that.
Right.
They're everywhere now.
So then is it in your head that I can wait because these are going to be here, or they might even get marked down because they can't sell them.
Right.
Like the cart figures, like the Andre the Giant and Macho Man cart figures, you can.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never want to see empty shelves, but it also makes you go, oh, well, stuff is selling. Oh, it's hard to get. I want to be in this. I want to be one of these people that are also looking, but you waste so much time and gas and stuff going looking for stuff. And every time you walk in and see the same empty peg at the same empty store, and then the one day you don't go,
that's when they get everything.
Yeah.
How about you, DJ? What's your thoughts on this?
I guess, like, because there are peg warmers that upset me to no end. Like, say the Bobby the Brain Heenan Weasel figure, for example.
That shouldn't be a peg warmer. It's a great figure.
Yeah, don't do that. We have new listeners. Some people will think that they won't know that you're ribbing.
No, I think it is. I'm not. I do think it's a great figure.
It's not.
It is.
It's not a good figure. Why? That's why it's sitting there. It's not a good figure.
It doesn't work in today's. Like, no kid is going, Mom, I want that, like they would a Braun or a Roman or an AJ that might be warming the pegs. Like that Bobby the Brain Heenan, like collectors our age probably wanted it, but there should have been a shorter amount of them made. Yeah, I feel like they overproduced that, especially for being a Target exclusive. There definitely should have been less of them made, because people want it, but not as many as they made. They made it as if it was a John Cena figure, and that's not how that stuff should work.
It's an accessory for your Ultimate Warrior collection, is what it is.
Right.
So I can't stand peg warmers. I can't do it. Like, it's just like every time you turn the corner for the WWE aisle and you see that same figure there, and it just like my daughter laughs at me. Yeah, Tito Santana. Yeah, you can go down the list. Because even my daughter, like I have her on the weekends, and she will go hunting with me, and she's starting to learn who, like, the peg warmers are, and she'll immediately start laughing as she will look and see those same figures. So yeah, it for me, I can't do that. I'd rather it be empty. I can't stand peg warmers.
I think I'd rather have it be empty too. At least like it's not like stuff is selling. Like at least when they get it in, it's going. I think I would definitely rather have them be empty.
Yeah. Well, more likely you're going to have new stuff go out if it's empty compared to full of peg warmers, and they're just like, well, until we sell this, we're not putting out anything new. That part sucks.
Right.
But it's not like Target and Walmart with all the different toy lines they have are going to specifically look at, hey, these same toys have been here, let's get rid of them. Like, unless a computer or a company-wide markdown or something happens, they're just going to sit there until somebody buys them.
Yep.
And they're just going to stay at the same price. And that's terrible, but it's not like we can go, hey, you need to mark these down. That's not, they're not listening to us.
Right. All right. Yeah, just a fun little question there that I thought, I saw it in one of the groups. I was like, oh, I'm going to ask that on our pod. Weekly purchases. DJ, you want to start it off?
Why don't you go ahead? Because I think I got to, all right. I don't know. We might be about equal this week, actually.
I mean, we did the Heroes Hideout thing. I got a bunch of 8x10s signed. I got the Steiner Brothers, Virgil, $1 Million Man, IRS, Barry Windham. Trying to think of who else. Steiners. Oh, Haku. Haku was a freaking pleasure. Haku. I also was 38 years old when I realized Haku actually speaks really good English. I thought, honest to God, did not know he spoke English. I thought, kayfabe, man. I just thought he, you know. So we did this. We did this Heroes Hideout thing. It was a blast. Like we were telling Mike before we started recording. They, or maybe we did say it on the air. They did a great job of keeping everybody, trying to keep everybody safe. They basically put everybody into 2 different empty stores at the mall that Heroes Hideout is in, and you had to. There's a certain amount of people that could be let into each one at a certain time and stuff. So they did a really good job. And they're going to do another one, and it's all AEW themed. It's in November, and then they're doing another one in October is the AEW themed. They've already announced that John Moxley is the headliner for that one.
The headliner. Yep.
They're going to do women's one, and Trish Stratus is rumored to be the headliner on that one. So, and that's going to happen in November. But yeah, so I got all those 8x10s signed from all those guys I met. DJ, I got this. You see this? You see this prediction championship belt? I got this. No, but I while we were at Heroes Hideout in Albany, I grabbed the NECA John Nada. They live right. Roddy Piper figure. Right. I got the last one in the store. Very helpful people at Heroes Hideout helping me out. And then I talked about last week on the show. I talked about the Marvel retros, and they were hitting stores. And I snagged 2 of them. I got Electro and Daredevil. I just love the retro packaging and how
the retro packaging is dope.
Yeah. It is. They had Iron Man, Captain America, Elektra, and somebody else I left there. Because I was just like, I already have Hasbro Pulse. I showed DJ these while he was here last week. But Hasbro Pulse did these where it looks like the comic book, and then the figures you guys can see on the back if you're watching on the video. The figures are on the inside. So they had a Black Panther there. So I was like, these are good enough. I don't need to buy 2 of each guy. So I was like,
you don't.
I actually showed some self-control and and just bought the 2 that I felt like I needed. And then really, the only other thing, I believe, where's my list? I had a list. I don't know what I did with it. Anyway, the only other thing I got was I was talking about it on the pod a few weeks ago. I needed the Marvel Lucha Wolverine. And like DJ said, man, we hit a Target and on our way back from Albany, and they didn't have anything. And I'm like, what the hell, man? And I kind of moved a pop, and there he was right behind it. And I was like, oh shit, I need that. $8, thank you. And out the door. And then at Heroes Hideout here in Holyoke, Mass, I ended up getting my son the wrestling buddy of the Wolverine Lucha figure because his name's Logan. He loves Wolverine because his name's Logan. So hooked him up with that, and that's it. That was it for my. Oh yeah, he's pumped. He's been sleeping with it every night.
Yep.
I haven't seen those in person yet. I've only seen pictures. I didn't realize they were out. Are they?
Heroes,
Yeah.
I've only seen them at Heroes Hideout, and the price wasn't bad on them. $13.99. I actually expected it to be more
okay.
expensive.
So they're not in scale with the Hulk Hogan up there behind you, then, right? They're like,
you know what? I didn't even look. I think they're a little bit smaller though.
Yeah,
like
I think,
yeah.
At that price, I just assume they're like half that size. So
yeah, they are. I think they're not much, but a little bit smaller. Like I think if I put the Wolverine one up there, his legs wouldn't fold.
gotcha.
I think he would just stand there.
That's right. Yep.
So,
I agree with that. Yep.
And that was it for me. DJ.
All right. So I had a pretty big week, but that's because like a lot of stuff came in. I went to I went to the East Coast. I figured I might as well make the most of it. But this is probably going to be it for me for the month. I'm not a rich man. I work in education. But anyway, so we, Heroes Hideout, of course. So for those watching, this is a Butterbean signature on a glove. That was pretty fun to get.
And he's got a solid signature.
Yes, he does.
A lot of people don't, so that's a good one.
Right, right. And this is with his own pen too. Like he didn't need me. He just whoop. So last week, like you probably heard, like most of people heard, I got this Ken Shamrock Classic. Ken Shamrock was at the show. Boom! I got a photo and a signature from Ken Shamrock on said figure. At the Heroes Hideout, like I did. Like I went down the rabbit hole. Like we talked about the pop rabbit hole. But I saw this figure. I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm not getting that. And it's Jam Master Jay, the guy who this man should still be here with us. Like, he still has an unsolved murder, but he's a musical genius and legend that should still be with us. Thanks to Tommy Paradise. Like I took this out of his cave. So Ali versus Superman. I love the pack. Like I love the presentation of that package.
That's a great figure. Like I was a little sad to get rid of it, but I just don't really have the room for it. So
right. And I do. And then we talked about it offline. Like, I think, did you remember to talk about this when we?
Oh yeah, that's right. I got British Bulldog as well.
Yes. So we both found a British Bulldog in a Target. And the funny thing is, so after I bought this British Bulldog, for those of you that do the Target points, so I discovered I had enough Target points. If I wanted to buy a figure, I could. So I went to Target during my lunch, and then this guy was on the shelf, the Undertaker with the broken face mask and his purple, which, like, at that Target you don't find those figures. So so I used my points and snatched him. And then lastly, so big ups to Entertainment Earth. I pre-ordered this figure with them. Jetfire.
Nice.
From Transformers, Siege, the Siege line for War for Cybertron. I'm going to do a video actually on the opening of this because this is like a huge box. So I'm very curious. I'm pretty sure our Transformer fans are going to be curious about this. So I think this is a worthy box opening for a video.
Love it.
Yeah.
Anything else? That's it.
That's it.
Dude, you got more stuff than I did, I think, this week. Oh, I forgot. There's one more thing I got. Prediction championship.
It's all right. You'll slip up at WrestleMania or something.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I might just put this around my head the rest of the. No, it's not going to work.
It won't work.
Mike, anything you pick up this week, man? I know you're not prepared because you didn't know you were going to stay on this long, but
yeah,
right.
No. The only thing I picked up this week was this guy, this Macho
nice.
Masters of the Universe. So I had bought all the Masters of the Universe up to this series because I was so disappointed that the retros were on hiatus. And I think I'm going to end up selling all those off. But I'm a Macho fan. So I went into maybe the smallest Walmart I've ever seen on Monday. Right as they opened, I was on the way out of town for work and went past a Walmart I'd never been to. And it was just tiny, like probably a tenth of a normal Walmart. And they had 2 whole sets on the wall. And I was going to buy them all. And I was like, I'm done with this series. So bought the Macho, left the rest. And that's pretty much all I picked up. I got some shirts in the mail, but no other figures or anything this week. I haven't came across that British Bulldog in stores yet. I'm kind of on the fence of wanting to pick that one up, even though I'm not an elite collector. But Bulldog's one of my favorites, so that might happen eventually.
Nice.
Right.
I was trying to flip mine because I'm a scumbag.
Yep.
And I ended up selling it to somebody in the Major Wrestling Figure podcast group who's going to hook us up with a giveaway in return. So it's all for the greater good. For the greater good, I sold it for, and I sold it for like what I paid for it. So,
yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
that's some good mojo. Good mojo.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than that, I just got to keep an eye out for this Shredder Shadow.
Oh man,
NECA
I'm
figure.
so on the fence on that.
I know
like,
it's the same figure I have, just a different color and a different box. But like I have all the movie ones. Like, am I not gonna have all of them at this point?
I know, man.
And I keep seeing like even NECA's retweeting all these people that are finding them in stores because they've hit like Chicago and Iowa, like all these northern stores, and eventually it'll make its way down here. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be hard to come by, but we'll see. So for $30, I'll probably pick it up, and I mean they'll stop carrying it in stores in a month, and if I don't want it, I'll be able to sell it and not lose. So
yeah, exactly. All right, guys, that's it for Walk That Toy Aisle. We're gonna head on over to Falls Count Anywhere. Falls Count Anywhere is brought to you by Fig Tees. Check out figtees.co.uk and use the code RUN15 for 15% off. This guy makes custom shirts for your wrestling figures, and they are fire emoji. So make sure you hit up figtees.co.uk. He's actually sending me some to give away on the show.
Nice.
And you can use the code RUN15 for 15% off. Man, why is everything getting canceled? That's what I was that's my first thing I'm bringing up, man. Like, what the hell? Like, I saw a meme that the other day about all this. So obviously we know about Dr. Seuss. What else got canceled? Dumbo and freaking Peter Pan getting canceled this week, and Pepe Le Pew. Like,
well, okay, so I think for Peter Pan and Dumbo, I think they're just not available anymore on a child's account. I think you still might be able to see them on an adult one.
They're on Disney Plus, but an adult account has to log in to access them.
Okay, and I recently watched Peter Pan with my daughter, and I had like I wouldn't like I'm not part of cancel culture, but I see why they got a little nervous about it because if you go back and watch it and go watch like what they do with Tinkerbell in this movie, it's a little it's a little unchildlike. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Dumbo, it's the crows. The crows are totally racist. Like it's pretty bad.
I didn't even realize. I didn't even really remember crows being in it. I thought it was honestly because he gets like picked on and stuff. I didn't read any of the articles because that's what we do in 2021. You just read the headlines. And
no, the crows sing a song. Like they're obviously supposed to be black crows, and they're played by white actors trying to be black. And I be done seeing about everything. But until I see an elephant fly, so yeah, it was pretty bad. I can see why that got kicked off as well.
All right. Maybe it's just Pepe Le Pew. I get kind of to an extent just because
he's a little handsy.
yeah. Crazy.
They had to cut him out of Space Jam 2. Supposedly he was in the movie and they cut that part out. So
Yeah,
it's not just the like classic rapey cartoons. It's he was even in Space Jam 2 and they totally had to pull him out of the movie. So
they could have let him like
he's fully canceled.
Yeah, he could have made amends and
he's in the first movie, and I don't even think he scores a basket in the first movie, so he was already canceled anyways.
He scores literally one basket.
He scores one, okay.
Yeah. He scores one basket.
His points.
We gotta look up his stats.
The stats were none of the Michael Jordan's team, none of them missed a shot. They were perfect from the field.
Probably.
Yeah, no one misses a shot in that game.
They had to be tackled to not shoot.
Damn, I have to go back and watch Space Jam. My kid was into it for like a month maybe, and like it was on Netflix. He would watch it all the time, and I have to go back and I don't think I ever watched it with him. I just think like he would have it on. I'd be doing other stuff or whatever, but.
I used to love that sound. That soundtrack was fire.
Yeah, I think between the soundtrack and like the for our age, it's probably the other NBA players like Barkley and Muggsy Bogue and Sean Bradley and Ewing, whoever it is. So I think for us that was probably the most entertaining part. But yeah, and a lot of people are against the second one, like with LeBron and stuff. I'm all about it. Like I'll watch it when it hits HBO
it's a cartoon. Yeah.
It's
like, come on,
well, but everybody's like, you got all the people who don't want to compare LeBron to Michael Jordan, so they're gonna find a way. They're gonna find a way to complain about anything.
Yeah, and they probably make a few jokes about it too in the movie.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
yeah. It's like get over it.
The XFL and the CFL are talking of a potential partnership in a post-pandemic return. It's going to be like Impact and AEW. They're going to share player. No, I don't really know if that's what's happening. But
I'm for it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before. I loved the version of the XFL that was out during the right when the pandemic started. I thought it was good. I mean, it wasn't the best football in the world, but it was entertaining. It was something to watch. Because
it gives guys a chance. I like giving guys a chance.
Well, about to say some of those guys, when the XFL got shut down with everything, like some of those guys got signed. So it gave us something to watch when the NFL season wasn't going on. And like you said, give some of those guys a chance to maybe get moved up. But I think I read that part of this is going to cause the league to be pushed back like another year of starting maybe. Like it was supposed to start next year and maybe it's going to be the year after now, which that part sucks. But hopefully the not the longer it takes, but that this will be a good product when it comes out, especially having like Dwayne Johnson like backing it.
You got new owners. Yeah, you got new owners.
Yeah, hopefully
I'd rather they do it right.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping for with TV rights and when they decide to air it compared to the NFL. So yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, get it right, like Retromania is doing. They're waiting to get it right before it's.
I'm with it.
Before it's out. More sports news this week. The NHL is back on ESPN. They're using a lot of like the old graphics and old music and stuff like to bring us back. So I saw another meme like this week where it was like, man, WWE is going to be on NBC as in Peacock and NHL is going back to ESPN. This is like my childhood happening all over again. ESPN better bring back Gary Thorne though to do the NHL games because he was, and they better bring back like NHL Tonight with Barry Melrose and Kenny Mayne. And if they're really going to try to go all out with this, like bringing it back thing, using the old music and stuff, do it right and bring back all those old guys. But I think that's huge for the NHL too. It's like $1 billion deal too. Is really good.
With ESPN Plus and all the games that'll end up being on there, like that's just going to bring more subscribers to that. So you'll get some games on standard ESPN, but I think a lot will be ESPN Plus. I think it'll depend on what happens with like blackouts and markets and stuff like that, I guess.
That needs to be a topic for another podcast is the blackout stuff. Like I was trying to just to watch a Red Sox spring training game today while I was working and I'm like flipping through and I'm like, all right, I'll download the MLB.TV app. And I thought like during preseason, you could watch for free and it's like blacked out. Can't watch it. Bruins. I'm trying to watch on my Fire Stick here. Blacked out. Like, let's get rid of the blackout restrictions, guys. Let's get rid of it.
Especially with COVID, like
local teams. Jeez.
Yeah, but
well, that's the only
that's
time.
a lot of it.
That's the only time it happens is with the local teams.
Yeah, because
that's why it gets blacked out because the local channels have the rights to it.
Right.
So if you're in that area, like you could watch the Red Sox, and I could watch the Dodgers, but you can't watch the Dodgers. I can't watch the Red Sox.
Yeah, unless it's like national TV, like
right.
ESPN or Fox or whatever. If it's on like the local whatever, who's to say what you get to see or if it's one of those games where it's just based off your area, yeah, you may just get a random game that doesn't excite you. So
right.
Yeah, it's always been a weird thing. So
yeah, so the NHL deal with ESPN is 7 years television streaming and media rights deal. Exclusive coverage of the Stanley Cup final on ABC in 4 of the 7 years. Hall of Stanley Cup play. I think that's supposed to say all of Stanley Cup playoffs on ABC and ESPN each season.
That's supposed to be all.
25 exclusive national regular season games on ABC or ESPN. 75 national regular season games will stream exclusively on both ESPN Plus and Hulu. Out-of-market streaming package, formerly NHL.TV, available only as part of ESPN Plus subscription. So some big stuff there.
Yeah, makes you wonder what they're probably losing to fill this in. Like if they're losing soccer or some kind of college sports type stuff, maybe.
Yeah,
it's got to be something that it's replacing. So
yeah, it's weird. Now that you say that, I'm like, yeah. All right, last segment before we start to wrap stuff up here. What you watching this week? I honestly have not watched much of anything this week. Just been busy with trivia and life.
Week, yeah,
and getting back on track here, and after a busy weekend, so I have not watched much. DJ?
Well, I just wanted to give I know some folks are tried to watch Wanda Vision. And they're like, what am I watching?
No spoilers here. No spoilers. I haven't finished.
I can't do a spoiler? Okay.
No. Nope.
I would just say I finished WandaVision. I'm trying not to give spoil. I guess next week I'll do I'll explain what I will do next week. So I'm gonna give everybody a chance. Again, I'm gonna tell you tough out those first couple of episodes. It's gonna be confusing, and it's made that way on purpose. And then it all comes around. Everything you're watching is gonna come back around when you come around to the last few episodes. You'll figure out why there is a white Vision that you're seeing in action figures. And that's a big moment. That's also a big moment in comic books. And yeah, so I'm going to say it again. I will put this up there again. I think this is a good show. You have to give it a chance. I guess I'm a guy that grew up watching old sitcoms anyway. I watched, Dick Van Dyke and, and the Mary Tyler Moore Show and all that they're imitating in the first couple of episodes. So that's just me, but telling you, watch it. Trust me. Just keep going. Keep going. You'll get it. It will come around and you'll get it.
I've actually watched the first 2 episodes, and I don't think they were that bad. People were like, you just got to get through the first 2 and the rest is good. I didn't have any problem with the first 2 episodes. I thought they were entertaining. Yeah. I thought they were good. I do need to watch it. I told the story, I think maybe last week or the week before, where my son watched it without me. He actually told me last week too. I thought there was only 6 episodes for some reason, or 7. And he's like, no, Dad, I watched the season finale without you too. And I was like, oh, all right. He's like, you're going to be mad at me. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Whatever. It's fine.
He totally cheated on you.
Mike, what are you streaming this week?
Yeah, with work, I haven't watched a lot. What did I watched the Big E documentary on the network.
Yep.
That was really good. I wish it was longer. Some of those documentaries are an hour, 2 hours, and then other ones are 15 to 30 minutes. I don't feel like they cover enough, but
that
Big E,
that's good. It's a really good documentary.
Mike froze.
Yep, that's why I was trying to cover that up, but
we might have lost him.
Right at the last segment.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll take him off the stream here, and if he comes back, he'll come back. So, all right. we'll start to wrap things up. Mike's watching he watched the Big E documentary. I don't know what else he watched, but maybe we'll get an update for next week. But we got a few shout outs here as we start to wrap up the show. Don't forget to hit up our buddy Phil Gentile's podcast, the Fig Cave podcast. He's got a really good episode this week. I just started listening to it right before we started recording on my ride home. A very good episode. Make sure you check that out. And then go to thefigcave.com and join the Facebook group. And you can buy, trade, sell figures for retail. Everybody helping each other out. We're doing, all kinds of random stuff, toy hunts in there and stuff like that. So make sure you join thefigcave.com. And then we got to shout out Figure Collections. One of the sponsors. This whole show is brought to you by Figure Collections. Check out figurecollections.com. Join their Facebook group as well. It's figure collecting enthusiasts. Trying to spice up that group a little bit. So come on in, start some conversations. Let's get it going. And then we got to shout out Extra Cooler because was going to do this with last week, but the shirts weren't up yet. The two brand new shirts in our the West Coast and the East Coast, or Lake Show and Beantown as they're named in the Pro Wrestling Tees store. We're all designed by him.
Or are we just gonna?
No, I'm gonna bring that up here in just a second. So Extra Cooler hooked it up, and Mike's back. Hey, Mike.
It's raining cats and dogs outside, so I don't know if that kicked me off or
maybe
it was like it's almost midnight. You should be thinking about bed. So
yeah.
We're you got anything else to add about the Big E documentary? We started to wrap things up, but if you wanted to go,
I don't know what cut off. So yeah, just talking to some people afterwards. Pretty much everybody in the mindset that this guy should be the world champion within easily the next year. Maybe we could have had it this year, but another one of those guys without the crowd, like, does it really matter if he wins the Rumble? So, and genuinely seems like one of the guys everyone in the company cheers for and likes, especially for somebody who like kind of got brought into the business as like a high school, college wrestler, football player, like never expected to be a wrestler. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all for that. So yeah, beyond that, I don't know that I've really watched much on Netflix. I watched that Cecil Hotel documentary, but I'd already seen so much about that in the past.
My wife watched that.
Yeah, it was okay for what it was. Like, really could have been condensed. They kind of try to stretch it out to kind of be more of a conspiracy haunted type thing. But yeah, it's worth a watch. It's 4 episodes. And then I watched all of Schitt's Creek. I was a couple years behind on that. But now that it got moved to Netflix, I pretty much binged through that because that most of the people in that really entertained me for some of the movies. A lot of that cast have done together in the past. So yeah.
I've been meaning to watch that. Me and my wife started it. We watched maybe 3 or 4 episodes and enjoyed it, and then we just kind of like switched to something else for some reason and haven't.
Yeah, they're short. They're like 20-25 minutes. It's nothing. So
yep. All right, then we'll continue with our wrap up here. We're shouting out Extra Cooler. He designed our Boston Celtics and Los Angeles Lakers inspired logos. He's just so good to work with, man. I can't say enough good things about Extra Cooler. He's the man. I literally sent him these ideas, and literally the next day he's sending me mock-ups and like super quick with getting back to me and having them ready and stuff, and making changes. And he really was amazing on getting all that set up. So thank you to him. And you can check those shirts out at prowrestlingtees.com/runinpod. And I want to give a shout out to the Game Marks podcast because a few people have slid into my DMs and asked me where the video game shirt that we had up went. It's not on the Pro Wrestling Tees store right now because I posted it, and we one of the guys from the Johnny Clash from the Game Marks podcast, who's an independent wrestler, and I love the Game Marks podcast. I listen to it all the time. He just kind of made he kind of copied our tweet, or quoted our tweet or whatever, and said that the image looked very familiar. So I immediately slid into his DMs, and me and him had a very good conversation about that logo looking very similar to theirs and them trying to protect their brand, and totally understand that. So we changed it, and the new one should be up very, very shortly. We just changed the colors. Johnny was cool enough to just say, I get it, man. Just, if you can, if it's not too much of a pain, change the colors. And we absolutely did that. So we actually have like 3 versions of it coming: green, yellow, and a baby blue, like North Carolina blue, coming out. So those should be up on the store very, very soon. So a few people have asked what happened to that shirt, because they saw it when we put the pictures up, and that's the story behind that. So we're not out to make enemies or anything like that. With there's enough of that bullshit going on in the podcast world. So we just were like, you know what? Let me slide into his DMs real quick and, and get this taken care of. So
no static at all here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes like great minds think alike. Sometimes, like you don't intend for it, but there's only so many ideas out there. And
I actually felt like an idiot because I listened to their podcast pretty frequently, and it didn't even hit me when I saw the image. It looked like their logo a little bit. So
you get an idea in your head, you come up with something, and then you're like, oh, maybe it kind of references something I've seen before, and so at least you made the changes and made it right. So
exactly. And thanks to Zach Egolf, member of our inner circle, that helped getting those corrected and changing the colors and actually did the design for us. So that shirt, like I said, that shirt will be back up on the store very, very soon, just in different colors. Make sure you guys check out Kenny's podcast, The Call Up, on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. He's got a lot of big things happening. He's got Moose from TNA. I don't know if I was supposed to tell everybody that, but he's got Moose from TNA coming up on one of his shows. He just had Heath Slater from TNA on, so definitely check out his show. WrestleGeddon coming down the aisle, Turnbuckle Tavern. And then also don't forget to hit up Buy Sell Trade Toys at Buy Sell Trade Toys on Instagram, and you can use the code RUN10 for 10% off. And then Keystone Collectibles, I believe it's Keystone Retro is their website. I want to make sure I have that right before I give you guys somewhere. Send you to the wrong page here, but you can go to their website and save 10% by using the same code. It's RUN10. RUN10 is like a code for everything, except for Heroes Hideout. Heroes Hideout, you can go to Heroes Hideout and use Run Space 10 for 10% off there. What is this guy's website? I should have had it written down. It is KeystoneRetro.com. Exactly what I thought it was. Use the code RUN10 for 10% there. We told you about Fig Tees. You can get 15% off on his website. It's figtees.co.uk. And that, I believe, is all of our shout outs. I hope I didn't forget anybody for this week. So what's that?
I think you got him.
All right. Make sure you follow along on YouTube. It's youtube.com/something to be named later, because we finally hit the 100 subscribers. It's probably going to be youtube.com/runinpod, but gotta make that official. So stay tuned for that. Also, stay tuned that we are doing a bracket challenge. We have our chain restaurant bracket challenge going on, where you guys vote on who should win. I thought Waffle House would be a little more dominant this week, but we'll get into that in another episode. And but we're also going to do one on ESPN for the actual March Madness bracket, and we're going to give away one of our shirts. You guys could win one of our shirts for free over there. So we'll send out the link to that. I just set that up tonight, so we'll tweet out the link tomorrow, and it'll be everywhere you can find us. Our Twitter is at Run-In Podcast. My Twitter is at Tommy Paradise. Instagram is at the Run-In Pod. My Instagram is at Tommy Paradise. Mike, you got anything you want to pimp out before we say goodbye?
Not really. You cut out there for a minute, so I don't know if you mentioned Phil's new interview on the Fig Cave podcast with the wrestling figure database guys. I listened to that. Sure. Okay, yeah, I listened to that today. That was
while you were gone.
Yeah, that was really entertaining, and blows my mind how quickly those guys have put that website together. Like, I assume this was like months and years. It's weeks. So
3 weeks they said on the way. Yeah. I was listening on the way home from trivia, and they said 3 weeks, and they didn't really know each other. Right? Like me and DJ, they didn't know each other before they started working on this project. And 3 weeks in, and they've got quite the website. So definitely check that out with Phil.
So other than that, like, having a lot of fun with the food bracket. Can't wait to see. I think it's going to get really tough when we get down to 16, because right now, like we're surprised how close some of these are, and that some of these people aren't blowing each other out. But I think when we get down to like the nitty gritty, like we're gonna be upset when some people get ousted. So
Yep.
having a lot of fun with it. Love seeing people respond and vote and stuff, and see where everybody's at on it. So yeah, it's always fun to have a random bracket like that. So food was definitely a way to go, and something that interests all of us. And the rest of March is going to be fun with that.
Yeah, everybody likes food. DJ, give him your Twitter and your Instagram that was stolen by that guy in NXT.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know what? I want to shout out. Like I made, like like we said, like when you follow us, go ahead and message us. We're nice guys. We'll talk to you. Like I'm gonna shout out Onassis. We got a fan over there in Long Beach in the LBC. We were talking about Proper 12 and and having a good old time.
Y'all fancy.
Yeah. So Fig Night 27, FIGKNIGHT 27 for both the Gram and Twitter.
And Mike, yours is just Mike Lanham, right? For both?
Right. Yeah. Twitter, Instagram. You can basically see me repost all the run-in and Fig Cave stuff, probably. It's about most of it right now. So, but yeah, you can definitely inbox Tommy Paradise. He doesn't go to work, so he'll quickly respond.
He ain't got no job.
I never work. I need to go to sleep.
Pretends he's working. He's watching wrestling. I don't know what he's going to do when the network goes down next week.
I'm fucked, man. I'm fucked.
Start playing that PS5 while you're doing your kayfabe job.
Last week I was watching AEW. I was on the clock. I was watching AEW on my laptop and playing PlayStation 5. So,
hey, we got baseball coming soon. So,
yep, March Madness next. You think I'm not doing work this week? March Madness starts next week. So
I know, like that
Thursday and Friday.
That Thursday, Friday. Like I was like, I'm going to take off work, and instead I've got this big project at work, and I can't get out of it. So I'm going to miss a lot of those early games. So
I always work from home those 2 days.
I wish
somehow. And with COVID, I don't have to worry about it. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, one last thing is just write a review if you haven't already on Apple Podcasts. Tell a friend, help spread the word. And thank you guys so much for listening. This has been the Run In Podcast. Good night.